Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Matt, CEO of Orah, and I'm really excited to be here today with the InformaCast team. On the call with me, I've got Ben from the InformaCast team, and then I've got Paul as well from the Orah team, who will be guiding both of the demonstrations today. Just a quick few housekeeping announcements. If you've got questions today, chuck them into the chat or the Q&A box, and Tiago from the Orah team will prompt me with those questions at the end. We've got about 40 odd minutes here to go through and show you how Orah and InformaCast come together. And then at the end, we'll be able to open it up for Q&A. So just a bit of quick context on why we're doing this webinar together. At Orah, build a platform that gives you a real-time understanding of where every student is throughout the day. And when we started talking to the InformaCast team, we realized that there's this really powerful opportunity when you bring together their functionality and platform to manage an emergency downstream when that is triggered, and all the functionality that comes with getting that communication out, but also seeing floor plans, calling 911, and all that kind of stuff that needs to happen downstream. Coupled with that real-time location of a student in Orah together makes it a really effective emergency response. We don't want to be scrambling to figure out where the students are in the event of an emergency. Two very different mental tasks in that high stress moment. Bringing these systems together so you're not having to bring information across both is absolutely critical. So what we've built is an integration where when you trigger an emergency in Orah, it lights up the InformaCast command center. And again, Ben will take you through all the downstream response capabilities that the InformaCast platform has got, but then with that real-time student information feeding in. The cherry on the top here is we've also got an integration with InformaCast's visitor management platform, where visitors are also included in the Orah emergency role. So you can also account for visitors as well. And again, that flows through into the downstream emergency response. Goal simple. Let's reduce the time between something happening and we've got this under control. So let the systems talk to each other so that you can focus on managing the situation and not hunting for information across systems. So if you're already an Orah customer on this webinar, this integration works out of the box with your existing InformaCast setup. If you are also an InformaCast customer at the same time, perfect, ready to go. If you're coming from the InformaCast side and you're wanting the real-time visibility piece, obviously reach out to the Orah team, and vice versa. If you're an Orah customer wanting to understand more about the InformaCast suite of tools, reach out to your customer success manager or the Orah team, and we can make those introductions directly into the right person at InformaCast. So that's the introduction to what we're going to go through today. Keen to get to the nuts and bolts, drive into some of the product demonstrations and show you how this actually works. As I've been talking, the slides haven't been moving. That's my bad, but all that stuff is reiterating what we just spoke about. So I'm going to throw to Paul Organ now from the Orah team to give a quick demonstration about how emergency roles work in Orah. Thanks, Paul.
Great. Thanks, Matt. Just checking you can all see my screen. Yep. Can you see it, Matt? Ben?
Absolutely.
Great. Yep. Well, yeah. Thanks, Matt. This is, as a lot of you would be familiar with, or if you're a customer, our home board. And from here is where we can initiate an emergency role, which you can do from your phone as well. The templates we'd help you set up, but depending on the type of emergency that it is, you would select the right template. So fire, for example. And then within that, you can set up all your templated communications as well. That can go out via text, email, push. But the beauty of this integration with InformaCast is once it's triggered, choose a different one, always when you're doing a demo in front of 100 people. So we'll go to fire drill, start, and then that will initiate a alert that goes obviously through the Orah platform, but it also hits the InformaCast integration and then goes out through your physical alarm systems as well. There's a few other ways that it can reach the people on campus, which I think Ben is about to show you as well. But that's as simple as it is on our side. The upside to doing it through Orah is that you should be pulling all the information that you have on student location directly into the role. So you're not syncing with Blackbot or anything to figure out where kids are. You've already got that live view as to where all your students are. So it'll tell you where they are. And then if they're off campus for a pass, or they've gone off campus for a sports tournament or something, it'll show you in real time. So yeah, that is how you can trigger it and run an emergency through Orah. Should I pass it over to Ben? Is that the next step here, Matt?
Yeah, thanks, Paul. And yeah, I think that element is that the automatic integration will take that trigger that Paul just mentioned and push that directly into the InformaCast system, which, yeah, we'll throw to you, Ben, and it would be great to take the most Orah customer base through what the InformaCast system can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it, Matt and Paul. This is some really exciting stuff. Folks, what I want to do here in a very succinct fashion is just, for those of you unfamiliar with single wire software, as well as the InformaCast and VisitorAware products that we offer and how they integrate with Orah, providing a little more clarity about what we're all about and how our joint solution can hopefully really help you folks out as the entire goal. Promise not to have too long of a presentation, but I think it really teased up the different use cases and reason why this life safety solution is so important for yourself and so many of your other peers. We'll then see a live demonstration of what one of these notifications being sent out from Orah with the integration is going to look like. And then we will wrap up just by touching on VisitorAware a little bit. So let me go ahead and present this to you folks. So first things first, single wire software, that is the name of our company. We have been around since 2009, but our software, which is a mass communication system that really targets schools over the entire world, that software platform has been around for over 20 years. We got our origins in the Cisco ecosystem, paging to desk phones. But now, these days, we're really a full-scale incident management tool, right? Sending the notification to as many folks as possible, whether that's on their mobile devices through a text message, email, push notification, etc. Of course, right? That's absolutely essential. And you can do that with either InformaCast, the product, or with Orah, of course. But our true core competency is all of those on-network notifications, right? Think your paging system, whether those are IP speakers or an old school legacy system from the 1990s, right? Desk phones, desktops, you're going to be seeing here in just a moment when I launch one of the alerts. Digital signage. You can even activate a full-scale lockdown using special input-output modules that interface with InformaCast, right? All of this bringing together one comprehensive solution so that without having to buy a bunch of proprietary hardware, you can use all the systems you already have in place, which may be disparate right now, right? Tons of our customers have one system for texting, one system for their paging system, one system for the folks that control the security cameras, etc. With InformaCast, we can bring all those traditionally non-communicating systems together, all because we are built on a completely open system, right? And through our API is how we integrate with Orah. So to dive a little bit more into InformaCast, right, we're really based upon three pillars. First is the alert, right? What is actually activating the event? Of course, with this integration, we are going to be initiating an event based on when one of the Orah roles occurs, right? And we'll be simulating that in just a moment here. Then there is the reach pillar, right? I need to make sure I reach everyone, whether they are mobile or if they're inside of the facility, I need to make sure that they are getting that loud, intrusive text and audio in some way or another. Right. And then, of course, is the respond piece. Along with doing the roll call inside of Orah, there are incident management capabilities within InformaCast, such as viewing camera feeds, understanding what alerts have been sent over a period of time, et cetera, all using this extensive technology integration ecosystem that we built over the years, and now we're using with the Orah system. So just to solidify, what are some examples of the different devices that our customer bases are using, right? Again, there are those API integrations, which are super powerful and continue to be very popular, but there's all of the different both manual as well as automated ways that you can activate InformaCast too. We have tons of customers that still use just standard desk phones today, right? Whether it's a Cisco phone, Yealink, Grandstream, et cetera, picking up the phone and being able to dial extension to either do a daily announcement or a critical emergency are very common use cases, as are a variety of different panic buttons, whether that's through our mobile app, through a wearable panic button that we just launched this year, or a fixed panic button as well, right? Any way that you can activate the system as quickly as possible is going to be able to ultimately save lives and make sure that all the emergency responders are being mobilized as quickly as possible. Things like AI weapon detection are becoming huge, and being able to tie into third-party systems that allow us to immediately get to first responders without even having to pick up a phone, make it a very, very important use case, again, to get response coordinated as quickly as possible. Then, of course, on the receiving side is all the different devices that we can have. We covered this already, but things two-way radios, right? Your fire systems, even your old school paging systems, right? Again, so many folks think that a mass notification system in InformaCast is going to require a bunch of different hardware that you have to purchase, when really our entire goal is to be the software platform that powers all those different hardware devices to one comprehensive system. So I'm about to show you what an example of one of these alerts looks. The one thing I want to make sure you folks are aware of, as we mentioned on the top of the hour, is that we have the integration with Orah and InformaCast live as of today. So to any folks who are on this webinar right now that are existing InformaCast customers, you can go into the application marketplace area within the admin portal, and you will see the Orah integration ready for you to install in your instance and provision as you please. This makes it super easy for you to add the integration without having to do a bunch of the manual surgery of passing around different access tokens and things that I'm sure any IT folks on the line have probably done before, which can be a headache. So they're the pioneers in this space. I'm super excited to hear your feedback on all of that. So without further ado, I would like to move over to one of our designated demo rooms, right? The purpose of this environment is just to give you a model of what your facilities may look like. There's a lot of different devices here, folks, right? There are IP speakers. You can see desk phones on the bottom right-hand section. We have our wearables infrastructure sitting in the middle next to this panic button. We have two-way radios. We even have an AED cabinet that if you want to know when someone opens that, so you can see, hey, I need to get attention on this exact location immediately, and these are the parties that are concerned, we can tie into all of those different devices. You may have some of these, you may not have any of them, but rest assured, almost certainly with some of the equipment you have, you're going to be able to utilize InformaCast to immediately add value. Then as you go, you can add additional devices, whether those are IP speakers or strobes, panic buttons, etc. We see so many of our customers start with their basic communication systems they have today. And then as they realize, hey, I could use InformaCast for more than just my emergency notification. I have a bell scheduler that's super old and super hard to deal with. Why not just tie that into my universal communication mechanism? That's what a ton of schools are going to use our system for. Now, in this example, as we touched on beforehand, we were looking at a lockdown roll call example happening on the Orah side. So what would happen when you activate that, when you're integrated with InformaCast, is an alert that might look something like this. Now, please keep in mind that the audio might not come through here, but I am happy to speak to what you may or may not hear. So let's go ahead and launch the alert, and then we will talk through it a little bit.
Emergency lockdown initiated at Orah Academy. The police have been notified and are on round, waiting for the all clear.
So whether you heard it or not, what is happening in this demo room, obviously the visual piece is pretty clear to understand. It is super intrusive, super obvious that there's a situation, and I've notified all these different devices. It's a very scalable system. We can do this with 10,000 devices at once. We can be that broad, or we can be as granular as sending a discrete text message out to your security officer, for example. Now, in this example, I had my text-to-speech engine running, but I also pushed out a critical alert, which allows you to bypass any do not disturb settings you have. Right down below, you can see on my app tray that we even have the ability to do things, push out these very large screen takeovers that are in your face, pushing out that extremely obvious notification so that no matter what platform you're using or where you are throughout your day, you're going to receive that notification. Furthermore, things that you would expect responses, letting folks know that you're safe or you need some additional assistance are completely at your disposal as well. So pretty simple demonstration right there. We're going to move back over to wrap up the discussion on the capabilities. That integration that we have right now is available to all of you folks today. Now, InformaCast, while our kind of traditional flagship product, we also have an amazing product that is called VisitorAware, and this is our visitor management platform. InformaCast, you can kind of think of as the core to all things organizational communications from start to finish. VisitorAware is what adds that secure entry and exit point to all of your different facilities. Now, VisitorAware comes with a variety of modules. At its base, it is a visitor screening tool, right? Again, keeping that same philosophy of no proprietary hardware, you can run the VisitorAware software on an iPad, on a desktop computer, whatever devices you already have in place. And then What it allows you to do is using somebody's ID and then facial recognition, it will allow you to run that person against a variety of different background checks, from Interpol to Predator watch lists, FBI watch lists, you name it, right? To make sure that anyone that is entering your building is safe and should be there. Furthermore, there are a variety of different processes that allow you to expedite the check and checkout process once you've been cleared, like QR codes and, not having to scan your license every time you log in and out. That facial recognition piece is also super powerful because there's a lot of visitor management systems out there that rely purely on name and address to do that kind of background check. And that leans into a lot of areas of false positives, which we're able to avoid. Now, on top of the visitor management piece, what's really helpful for schools is the drill management capabilities, as well as real-time bus insights, and then, of course, reunification in the event of one of those emergencies. And what's beautiful about this system is that it's all integrated with InformaCast. Separate product, but it speaks to each other, very similar to Orah. So again, kind of an end-to-end workflow. When you have one of those roles kick off on the Orah side that initiates a lockdown, for example, we can push that alert through the InformaCast system like you saw beforehand, and at the same time notify any of those visitors that have been checked in on the Orah side because they have utilized the VisitorAware Orah integration.
I'd also just add that I forgot to mention, very soon we'll have an integration with VisitorAware Live where visitors that are checked in through VisitorAware will show up in the emergency accounting piece through Orah. So schools will be able to account for those visitors that have checked in through VisitorAware on the Orah system as well. So that will be, do we have an exact date on when that'll be live, Matt, or not at the moment?
No, it's expected by the end of March with the visitor management piece. Yeah.
Right. Yep. Sorry, I just thought I'd add that.
That's perfect, Paul. That's about all I wanted to present to you folks anyways on the integration. Again, super excited about this. Here's my contact information, folks. I'm happy to get you squared away with our sales reps and get you more information on all this stuff. So thanks a ton for your time. Back to you, Matt.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it. And we obviously be a recording of this webinar as well. So if you didn't manage to grab Ben's details there, I do encourage you to reach out directly and understand more. So just to kind of recap here, emergency trigger in Orah or InformaCast, it doesn't matter where you trigger that emergency, but then the ability to take emergency roles in order to account for the students, and then obviously the visitors as well with the VisitorAware integration, to then manage downstream that emergency response in InformaCast with all of that kind of hardware as Ben just ran through. For me, some of the key takeaways from Ben's just piece there are really around, existing hardware that you've already got in your school, and being able to plumb that back into InformaCast is super powerful. It's not this new investment of hardware in order to be able to power this system. That was a real light bulb moment for me when talking with the InformaCast team, is just leveraging what you've already got and making it a lot more streamlined. The openness of the platform, we've obviously experienced it at Orah, being able to work with InformaCast to plug in multiple workflows. Same thing goes with other systems that you might be using. Ben, you spoke about AI weapon detection type systems. There's so many integrations that the InformaCast team have got. Again, just plug into existing stuff that you've already got within your school. And then lastly, this visitor management piece. We obviously have been asked many times whether Orah can have visitor management. I know there's a lot of customers on this call that have always asked us. And quite frankly, we believe that VisitorAware does a much better job at visitor management than Orah ever could do, with downstream facial recognition, checking databases, and just the comprehensiveness of that visitor management platform. So that's why we decided to partner with VisitorAware, is to go with best of breed, integrate it tightly with Orah. The benefit for that as well is we get to remain focused on being that best in knowing where the students are, and obviously iterating on our platform with our core focus. So just thought I'd provide a bit of context there as to why VisitorAware. I'm assuming, Ben, Paul, you can see my screen, and I've moved through to a 3 circle on the page. This is the 3 systems together. I think there's no getting away of this all-in-one platform that does everything, but these tight integrations behind the scenes to enable workflows and to make it simple for your staff is what we're really going for here. If you're interested on the Orah side, reach out to your customer success manager, reach out directly. to Ben. And then for schools that are on the webinar today exploring Orah, there's a link there where you can go onto the website and fill out a demo form if you want to understand more about Orah or InformaCast. We've got a tight partnership with the InformaCast team where we can introduce you into the right people based on where your school is geographically placed in the US, Canada, or somewhere globally as well. I will stop sharing. That brings us at least to the end of the formal part. I know there was a section here for Q&A, which Paul has already answered. So question was, given the integration with students and visitors, is there a way to tie this in with staff, faculty, and emergency as a roll call? And Paul, you answered yes. You're able to account for staff. Do you want to add a little bit more onto that?
Yeah, so during an emergency, staff and accounting for staff is part of the roll call procedure on Orah as well. From memory, it is showing primarily, we've released it first through the app. So yeah, you'd see all your staff and if they've been accounted for through your app on Orah.
Thank you, Paul. Are there any other questions from the attendees for either Ben or Paul whilst we've got both of them here?
Oh, here's one from Art. A super short flyer to share with our security directors. Yeah, we should probably get one of those prepared. Yep. Thanks, Art.
Thanks, Art. Yeah, we can get that done and we can distribute that around. I think that'd be really critical. Just give it another 30 seconds just in case, whilst we're all here. Looks like we're all good. I mean, the recording will come out. You've got all of our details as well. So if there's any follow-up questions off the back of this webinar, just reach out. More than happy to chat. Obviously, the entire Orah customer success team as well have sat on multiple calls with the InformaCast team and know exactly how the system works at a very high level, but also knows their counterparts at InformaCast to be able to make those introductions. So they're a great resource as well if you're talking to your customer success manager at Orah. Can't see any more questions coming through. Big thanks to Ben from the InformaCast team for joining us today. Thank you very much. And big thanks to Paul as well. Let everyone get on with their afternoons. Thanks, team.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.
Bye.